You're listening to Zap Night, a video game review podcast. Join your hosts as we review video games from all systems and all genres. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Zap Night.
60.
Episode 60.
Woo!
I'm your host, Danny.
And your co-host, Kaylee.
Yes,
Yay!
Let's get rolling. So this week, we are talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Pokemon.
It came out on November 15th, and I think we all bought it that day.
We pre-ordered it.
And started playing right away. At least I think I started pretty much right away. Yeah. It was developed by Game Freak, of course, and it was released on the Nintendo Switch.
Yay!
Which this is, you know, I don't know if you can consider the Nintendo Switch a handheld or a home console.
Well,
It's kind of
technically-
like in between.
Technically, the Switch Lite is not...
No, true. The Switch Lite is a handheld, but it's not like it's only playable on the Switch Lite. So, like,
In my opinion, it's handheld.
It's kind of like the first release of a mainstream Pokemon game on a console.
Well, I
like,
mean, if you could have played Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on the game through the GameCubes of the TV,
I guess.
I'll save that for Zap Chats.
Anyway, yes. So, I mean, that's about it as far as like the basics go. Let's talk about the story a little bit, as much as we can. It kind of follows the same like tradition of Pokemon. Like,
you're 10 years old, you go out on a journey to become the
pretty much.
best there ever was.
They do throw a bit more story into it from like the first game, but I mean, you know, I think it's more like they're trying to add story at this point, where it seemed like it was way more organic in the early games, but this game, I don't know. Let's talk about it. So you start off as your character, and you meet up with your best friend Hop, who is picking up his brother from the train station, and you slowly learn that his brother is Leon, who is the current Pokemon champion. And Leon brings gifts when he comes, and he offers you one of 3 of your starter Pokemon. And that's how you get starter Pokemon in this game, which is very interesting because normally you get it from the professor, and you don't do that in this game, which I thought was very weird. So then you obviously are given your choice. You choose one, and your rival, who is Hop, he chooses the like weak one. So
yeah, this one was different this time.
If you pick Scorbunny, then he picks Grookey, and then the leftover Pokemon goes to Leon. So, you know, depending on who you pick, depends on how they choose.
In past games, they choose the one that has the higher advantage.
Right, yeah,
so,
usually.
Difference.
So then, you are kind of given this mission to go and do the Pokemon challenge and challenge all the gym leaders and become the champion, or attempt to become the champion to beat the invincible Leon, because up to this point he is undefeated. Yeah. So you basically, like, without going into the sub storylines, you basically that's it. Like, you go out, you kind of fight your rival from time to time, you beat the first 3 gym leaders, and then you go and you fight. You know, they kind of have this ceremony where they lead you off into the wilds, and then you go and you fight the other, you know, however many gym leaders, and then you go to like the championship, where they don't have like an Elite Four like in the previous games. They have this championship where you fight the you refight some of the gym leaders again, but you also have to fight the like gym challengers, which is
Marnie?
Mainly Marnie. Marnie. And
the pretty guy.
The pretty boy, yeah. Bidet?
Is that his name?
I don't know what his name is, but
did you write it down?
Yeah, I did. It's right here. Right, that line.
Oh,
right, I was calling him like baby too, but like I swear it's bidet.
I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I was pronouncing it as Beatty.
It probably is Beatty, but I swear
I still
bidet.
bidet. It's too bad he didn't have like a Bidoof.
Oh my gosh. Bidoof should have been in this game.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the bidet is kind of how I felt about him.
I know. So, in any case, you fight the gym challengers. Then you fight the challengers of all the gym. That's supposed to be, so it's kind of like a bracketing system. Like you go through all the gym challenges, but if you don't beat a gym leader, you're not able to progress. So, like, you have to fight all the gym leaders, and then at the end, they have a championship where everyone who's beaten all the gym leaders fight each other for the chance to become the champion. And then you kind of have to refight a few of the gym leaders again. I think it's all of them. You refight all of the gym leaders, and then you have a chance to fight Leon. So that's, like, the base of what you're doing. That's like your goal. But then they have like a handful of subplots too. So the big one of the bigger ones is with Hop. Because Hop has like a character roller coaster in this game where he's your rival, but he's also like, he has this goal of beating Leon. And he is so persistent on this goal of beating Leon that he doesn't realize that he sucks. And when this sinks in, it destroys him.
That's kind of like me becoming an adult. It's like you can't wait to be an adult until you realize that you suck at being an adult.
So yeah, he finally realizes that he sucks. And he has to like rethink everything. And he spends a lot of time like doing this personal development. And he's, he challenges you multiple times trying to figure out, it's a pretend situation, really. They're trying, he's testing different Pokemon combinations, trying to help him figure out what works for him, even though your character pretty much demolishes him every single time. And it's funny because every single time you use the supercharge attack, he's like, whoa, super effective. So yeah, I don't, it's goofy. So yeah, then he does eventually beat all the gyms. He goes to the gym challenge. He's one of your gym challengers at the end. I mean, again, ultimately you defeat him and you move on, and he doesn't. So, there's some of that too. The second sub story is with Chairman Rose. So Chairman Rose he kind of owns all of Galar, more or less.
He's one of those people that you're like, that's the bad guy.
Yeah, that's what I said. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, there's the bad guy. But he was super chill throughout the whole game. And I'm like, well, when is he going to become the bad guy?
It's funny because he technically wasn't the bad guy.
He was just making bad choices. Yeah.
Which, I mean, adulthood.
Right.
Really, it comes around full circle. So.
When you realize you made these bad choices, sometimes you're in your 40s, sometimes you're in your 20s. Anyway, so Chairman Rose, he is the owner of the electric company.
Power? Is it a power plant?
The power plant,
something like that.
He also owns the Pokemon League. So basically, he owns most of Galar, and you can tell that there is something going on where he is collecting
the wishing stars?
The wishing stars that are falling out of the sky. And the wishing stars have some sort of connection to the reason why Pokemon can Dynamax. And Dynamaxing is where the Pokemon grow to these huge sizes and then you can fight with them. But apparently it's this phenomenon. And they're trying to figure it out and harness that power. One, to power the region, but two, to use it in Pokemon fights. And they've dedicated certain spots in the Galar region to have the Dynamaxing battles, which are most of the time the gyms.
Yeah.
So you go into the gyms, you're Dynamaxing in the gyms, you're Dynamaxing, in the Pokemon League area. So, those are the places that are Dynamax able, but then there's also the wilds where they have Dynamax dens and nests where you can Dynamax in there too. So it's these power concentrated spots. Anyway, so Rose is trying to harness that energy and he's collecting all these stars. And then you figure out that he is collecting all of these stars to hatch this ultimate Pokemon. You wrote down his name.
We couldn't figure out how to. I think
it's Pokemon. Nobody knows how to pronounce Pokemon names.
Eternatus?
Something like that.
Something.
So he's bringing all these stars to unleash this Pokemon to provide an unlimited power source for the region. But what ends up happening is that this Pokemon unleashes the Dark Days.
The darkest day.
The darkest day.
The second darkest day.
And it's up to you to go and save the day. So that leads us into kind of our third tier of story.
Well, it's with Sonia too.
That's what I'm talking about. So as you start, as you're going through the game, you are also playing with, or you're traveling with Sonia. And Sonia is the professor's granddaughter, Professor Magnolia's granddaughter.
Yes.
And she has been tasked, or she's like the professor's assistant. So she's been tasked to travel around Galar to figure out what is causing the Dynamaxing and what, it's like that. I think that was her original task, but it turned into this like what happened in ancient Galar and, discovering all of that. So essentially going down to the darkest day. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
So as you're going around, you're finding these artifacts and you're going to ruins and, different like areas to kind of explain this story that happened.
Figure out what happened, because it's not really explained very well. So, but you've got like these, like you uncover actually like that like mural and like the. It's not mural, a desert, but
the mural that Bidet like destroys.
Bidet. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Beatty. Whatever you want to call him. And then behind it, there's like statues of the dogs.
Yeah.
And so you're the whole time you're uncovering the story of basically in ancient Galar, there was this darkest day where all of a sudden the sky went dark and the Dynamaxing Pokemon were exploding all over the region. And two heroes came to save the day with a special sword and a special shield. And those two items helped to fight back the darkest day and restore peace to Galar. And you're kind of trying to uncover these clues as to who the heroes were, how they fought back the darkest day, and how can you use that to harness more of this power or figure out what's going on. I don't know. So anyway, you figure out, of course, that the sword and shield directly involves these two Pokemon, which you actually interact with early in the game. You run into, which if you have sword, you interact with the sword dog Pokemon. Yeah. Obviously the same with the shield. And you're starting to correlate this connection between the forest that you go into, which is called the Slumbering Weld, and you go back to figure out what's you're trying to figure out what happened, and you're also trying to help save the region, because at some point obviously Rose unleashes the darkest day again, and you have to save the day. So you go back to this area where you originally saw the dog, where you can also interact with a sword and a shield, a rusty sword and a rusty shield at this like shrine, and you take it back with you to go fight that power Pokemon, whatever his name was.
Eternatus.
And you go and you go to fight him, and he knocks down all of your Pokemon. And when this happens, then the sword and shield legendary dogs show up, and they help you fight against this Pokemon, and then you eventually catch that Pokemon. I suppose you don't have to, but I think everybody does. Is it mandatory to catch that Pokemon?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
It automatically catches.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Huh. Seems like I used something special when I fought that
I looked it up because I wanted him to go into a certain Pokeball.
Oh, nice. Okay. So yeah, you catch that Pokemon, and the legendary Pokemon of Sword and Shield, they go back to their hiding spot, and that kind of ends the game, because then at that point, the chairman Rose, he is like defeated, and he's realized that he's messed up, and I think doesn't he like go to do community service, or he like goes to prison or something like that. Like it seems like they talk about it in the game.
I'm gonna be honest, I liked Rose.
Did you?
Yeah. He was kind of funny to me.
So yeah, they punish him in some way, and then you, after the game, and you haven't done the post-game story.
I haven't done post-game stuff. I've been a little busy.
The post-game story, like after, by the way, after you do the Rose thing, after you fight Rose, you catch that special power Pokemon. You
actually get to have your final battle with Leon.
Fight Leon, because before you went to fight Leon and Rose like interrupts, and then the darkest day begins, and then you have to do the Pokemon thing. But then like after you beat this Pokemon and catch him, then the next day you have the fight with Leon that and then you beat Leon, obviously, and become the champion.
Woo! He's defeated.
So after that, you go back to your house, and you hear that Hop has gone back to the woods, to the slumbering weld, whatever it's called. And it sounds weird, the slumbering weld.
Well, so does bidet, so I mean.
Fair enough. So yeah, you go back there and you find Hop, and he's still kind of, he congratulates you for becoming the champion. He says that, he lost to Leon too, and he's trying to kind of figure out himself still. And you go back to the shrine and leave your rusty sword and your rusty shield back at the shrine again. And that's when these two wonderful gentlemen, Mr. Swordward and Shieldbird.
You showed me this because I haven't done. I had to see. I'm so glad you showed me this. You showed me the scene. Yeah. Their hair. I'm sorry.
Their hair is made out of Jello.
It's gorgeous.
It's wonderful.
It must be like Wooloo hair.
I don't know who the stylist is, but I want that stylist. I have many shapes that I would otherwise wish to have on my head.
Wait, at one point, Swordward, is that his name? He like moves his head and like it's like flopping.
So if you don't know this part, their hair actually looks like a shield or a sword, and like by sword I mean like literally like tall pointy sword as hair, and it like jiggles all over the place. And at one point they like bow. Like I don't think I showed you that part, but they like bow, and like the sword will like like downward. It's so funny.
Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't make that into the main game. I'm a little disappointed.
I am too. Honestly, this part is like the best part. So anyway, you talk to them, and they are saying that the rusty sword and shield belongs to them because they are technically ancestors of the Galarian kings. And you don't believe them because they're really rude and they're arrogant, and then they fight you for them. You win, so obviously. you get to keep the sword or the shield, whichever version
you get the
you're playing.
hairdo?
No, you just get the rusty item. Anyway, but Hop loses. So then whoever Hop loses to, then they leave with that item. So like for Hop, in my game it was the shield, in your game it was the sword. So anyway, then you're faced to chase after them. And in this pursuit, you find out that there is Dynamaxing explosions going on, and people are freaking out over this, and they're happening specifically in the gyms. So you have to go to the gyms and help fight the wild, crazy Dynamax Pokemon. And you go from gym to gym to gym to gym to do this. And you actually go with Hop and, what is his name? Piers. So you Hop and Piers are all going from gym to gym to fight these Pokemon, and most of the time you're doing it like raid style. So you're fighting them like 4-on-1 and then you can Dynamax if you need to. Every now and then they throw you in like, oh, we'll take care of these Pokemon, you do this one, and then you're fought, one-on-one.
Right.
But yeah, so you go to travel to all the gyms to the Dynamax like hotspot, and after you're kind of finished with that, then you go to the one that is at the power plant, and they are trying to summon the dogs to the top of the power plant. And when they do this, it's the opposite of whatever. So it's whatever item is opposite to your game. So for me, again, it was the shield. So I'll kind of talk just about the shield. So anyway, the shield reacts. The Pokemon gets summoned to the battlefield or to the power plant tower. Yeah. And goes into this like craze, or no, maybe it's I don't know if I'm remembering it right, but in any case, you fight one of the legendary Pokemon. It's in this like craze, and then the other legendary Pokemon shows up and like helps your team calm that Pokemon down. After you defeat that Pokemon, then he retreats and Hop chases after him. But the legendary Pokemon that is of your game, so for me it was Sword, he gives you the option to fight and capture him. So once you do that, then you go back to... At this point, the Sword Word and Shield Bird, they're like defeated and they're like, I'm really sorry that I did this, and we'll figure out how this can... I don't know, just blah, blah, blah. I mean, nothing important. Just they declare themselves as defeated and they'll try and do better in the future.
Adults.
So anyway, you go back to the forest and you find Hop, and he has returned in my case, the shield back to the woods where he calmed that Pokemon, the legendary dog Pokemon, down and was able to catch him. And you have one final like one-on-one with Hop, and it's like really cool battle music, and it's like this really kind of an epic. It really is like an epic fight, yeah. Because he really is a hard.
Oh, really?
He's really hard. At least he was for me. It depends on what team you have and with the levels and everything. But like he was really difficult for me. So like when I did finally beat him, it just felt good, and it felt like a good ending to the game. And Hop kind of tells you like, look, I've really been thinking about this, and I don't think I want to be a Pokemon trainer. I want to be a Pokemon professor. So then he goes to Professor Magnolia, who is actually at this point declared Sonia as the new professor. And Sonia then allows Hop to be the apprentice. So,
full circle.
Full half circle.
Partial circles.
But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. Do you think I missed anything?
No, I think it's a fairly, I don't want to say simple story, but it was kind of just
the post story. What was nice about the post story is that it felt way more urgent. Like in previous Pokemon games, like you have this like sense of urgency, like there's something big building up and you have to save the world. Or in this game, it was kind of like, yeah, there's like something going on that's kind of weird with like the wishing stars and the power plant. Like you hear about it and you have that weird feeling about Rose. And like nothing really comes of it until the very end of the game, and then it's like, oh yeah, this happened, and now it's the darkest days, and you need to save the world. And it's like, like most of the game, like you don't have that urgency until the very end.
My problem with some of these Pokemon games, a lot of these games, you catch these like big deal Pokemon, like of time and space and all this stuff. Yeah. What I liked about this game is they kind of pulled it in a little bit. It was a little more simplistic, but I liked that about this game because, like the Sword and Shield Pokemon, like saving this region from this dark day, like it's more believable than you catching the Pokemon of time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I liked that it was just a simple, you're just a trainer trying to become a champion. Like that's the main focus.
Who happens to be able to help.
I like
to be in the right place at the right time.
Not that Pokemon itself is believable, but it made the idea behind it more believable to me.
for me, the biggest aspect that stood out was the championship like process.
I did enjoy that.
The gyms felt very like sporty and like, you know, you're going from place to place and you're meeting up with other Pokemon trainers who are also going from place to place with you. And, you know, you're having these interactions with, you know, oh, that last guy was really hard, but, you know, we're going into this next one with a strong team. And, you know, it's just, it builds this like really cool atmosphere of the championship.
Yeah. Well, you know, the point of some of these games are supposed to make it feel like you, the player, are this character doing these things. And it kind of makes you, not that I felt like I was really there, but, you know, it makes it more believable. Like there's more believable aspects to it, more ideal, and like
it makes it more personable for you as a player.
Well, it's just you're not the only one because like in past Pokemon games, people walk out like, oh, your rival walks out, I just won this gym badge, blah blah blah. Or here it was, there's many people partaking in gyms, and people had lost, and some people, you know,
it feels more like a community in this game.
Yeah,
it feels more like a community just amongst the non-playable characters. Like you feel like you're part of this group of people who are setting off on this adventure together, trying to make it, you know, trying to have a good team and, you know, play Pokemon. Where in the previous games, it was more like just you and your rival, or like maybe a handful of other people, but not like this. This is like a big scale community thing, and everyone is, you know, when you go into the gym battles, like there's people cheering for different, you know, different people. There's people that are like, if you sit and just read the pop-up bubbles, it's like, oh well, I think Hop is really going to do good at this gym. Oh well, I think, you know, Danny's going to do really good at this gym. You know, sort of thing. Like, just, you know, it's a community thing. Like everybody's involved, and that was really cool.
It was cool seeing as more gyms you defeated, the more people were like, I recognize that trainer. That's so and so. You know, oh my gosh.
And then by the end, they're like, oh, it's Danny. Oh my gosh. You know, so it's cool. It's neat. I mean, I realize it's fake. Like
I know, but for the experience of the game, yes.
And I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to simulate this like big name championship, you know. And I like that. I thought it was fun. What
I liked, which you had highlighted on, was the character development with a few of these characters. Not just even Hop, but like
Hop
Sonia.
And Sonia,
even Marnie had a bit of character development.
Oh yeah, she totally did. Yes.
And I really kind of liked that because, you know, the story itself was kind of simplistic, but there was a lot of character development. Even Bidet.
Bidet.
I don't know. I just appreciated that a little bit more, because it's not like they were. Because sometimes other characters were so like overdone. Where some of these characters were just plain Jane, just kind of.
Well, okay, so Marnie's backstory a little bit. When you first meet her, she has this like huge fan base. And
she's the sister of one of the gym leaders.
She is, but you don't really find that out until later. But anyway, she has this like huge fan base that's following her around, and they're kind of like blocking the way of all the trainers. And then you obviously fight them and you get to move on. But it's kind of their way of adding roadblocks, temporary roadblocks, without it being like a Snorlax or a tree or something. You know, it's more organic. But like, Team Yell is the name of this group that's following her, and
so dumb.
It's really cheesy, but I mean, it's not terrible. It's just cheesy. So yeah, she is. You're kind of playing with her all the way through the game, and kind of like Hop, but like on a not so personable level. Yeah. It's more of she's just a challenger. You know, she's just there. She happens to be in the same places that you're at because you're doing the same things. And you kind of chit chat with her. You fight her a couple times, and you find out that she's the sister of she's the sister of the gym leader.
Is he a dark type?
I don't know. He's the rock and roll type.
He's the rock and roll type.
He is the rock and roll type.
You know what?
But you find out that Team Yell is actually a gym. Like, they're not like the bad guys in this game. It's just like a group of people that are following her because she is, you know, part of the gym.
You know, they played it pretty safe with the bad guys in this. There really is not like Team Rocket was bad, where there was no like really bad to the bone person.
I don't know, that hair.
That hair was...
No, I think that they are like the bad guys. Like the sword word and shield bird. So dumb. I don't know who comes up with this.
I think it's amazing.
It's the hair. You just can't get over it.
You know what I do like?
Or around it.
Is his name Piers, her brother? I really liked the fact that he didn't Dynamax his Pokemon.
I liked that too. I
appreciate. In fact,
he even said a few times like, I want to keep it traditional. And I appreciated that as being a traditional Pokemon player, you know?
And two, the Dynamax thing, I liked that you can only do it at the gyms or these specific
couldn't do
spots.
it at that gym.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like, I liked that you couldn't just do it anywhere, wherever you were. You had to be in, like, it made it certain so that spots. It wasn't so overpowered, I guess, for lack of better terms.
Kind of like the way that they use the Mega Evolution.
Yeah,
where you could just do it anywhere and anyone could do it, where this is left for very specific areas.
And I appreciate, because, well, that too, and it made the theatrics behind the Dynamaxing much more appealing. Like, this is a big deal. Everyone's chanting for you, and it made it so much more important.
The gyms were awesome in that way. It made you feel, like you were actually in a group or like a big arena, and there's people like when you knock out a Pokemon, there's people in the back. The cheers are like, like it's cool. It's just neat.
There's song chanting.
Yeah,
I liked that. So what did you give the story?
I give it a 7.
I gave it an 8.
I liked the post story a lot more.
Yeah, I do need to play. It makes me. I'll probably go home and play it now.
You really should. The post story is probably the highlight as far as story goes, but I really, really, really enjoyed the like tournament atmosphere, and I think that's because in my heart, that's the way all the Pokemon games have been.
Right.
Like, you're going and you're doing these tournaments, and it's this big deal. But this game is the first one to actually like make it that way.
Well, what's cool to this tournament thing is that even the gym leaders were defeated to Leon, and they were trying to get up there to fight. In fact, at the very beginning,
wanted to be the champion too.
In the very beginning, the guy who's the dragon type leader, he was actually fighting Leon in the very beginning, and he lost.
Yep.
And I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
I liked that dynamic was there. It made it
the dragon gym leader, whatever his name is.
He was really cool. I liked him.
I'm really mad that I didn't write his name down. But anyway, he was even Leon's like rival when they did the original Pokemon challenges. So like, it's just neat.
As a side thing, did you ever notice that when you're fighting the dragon type guy that his Rotom took his picture? Wasn't that cute?
Yes.
I loved that.
Yes. It's so funny. I think a few times we tried to take a screenshot of him, like, because he will like every now and then you'll see him like do a pose for his Rotom phone,
his Pokegram.
It's so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, I mean that's really all I had for story. Like it wasn't.
It wasn't over the top, but I liked that it wasn't. I liked that they pulled it back and made it a little more.
What did you give it for story?
I give it an 8.
An 8. Okay. I think my biggest problem with the story was the sense of urgency. Like, I wish that there was something a little more, there was a little bigger of a crisis throughout throughout the main game. Like, they saved that for post game, but then like after the post game storyline was done, now there's like nothing to do. Like, yeah, you finish your Pokedex and whatever, but there's no like special dungeon to explore, or like a new area opened up, or now you can find new legendaries or whatever. There's nothing. It's like the post story game is done and like, well, you're done. That's kind of sad. But like, that's my biggest complaint overall. I mean, I had fun playing through the story, and it's an okay story.
Graphics. I will say I gave it a 9. I had some problems. Like, I don't know if you want to consider them big problems, but like,
I had a lot of problems with the graphics. I gave it a 6.
Really?
It did, yeah.
Go on.
Okay, so the Dynamaxing thing was cool, but the Pokemon scaling didn't. They scaled the Pokemon from the original sprite from like the normal small sprite. And when you do that, you get pixelation.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And when you're playing and you're fighting the Dynamax Pokemon and they zoom in on those Pokemon, you see these like pixelations on the eyes and pixelations on the like different features. And I thought that was, you don't do that. You don't do that. I mean, if you're scaling up these Pokemon, they need to be dynamically scaled so that you don't have the artifacts like that. It's stupid. It's really bad. The trees didn't look very good. The grass didn't look very good. Like, I'm coming from a company who makes millions of dollars on these games. And you look at games like Breath of the Wild and how well they did the grass and the trees and everything, and then you look at Pokemon. Now, I'm not looking for realistic by any means, but if you're going to put forth the effort into making grass that has flowiness, do it well, or don't do it at all. Just have green, just make it simple like you did with, X and Y or whatever.
I honestly did not notice some of those things.
Okay.
I did like, though, when you're bringing up the grass, I liked that the wild area had the different, like, sand.
Yeah, I like that too. The wilds was really good. Like, that's one of my top things about the graphics. The wilds was really neat in the way that they had the different weather effects, and even the camera rotation in the wilds was great. But camera rotation is also a downfall because they didn't do it anywhere else. Like, they could have. It wouldn't have been that hard, but yet they didn't. So, like, when you're walking through an area, especially going backwards, you can't turn around. So a lot of times you're walking backwards at the camera and you're at the bottom of the screen and you can't do anything about it. It's stupid. You
did remind me, though, of the cookie cutter houses. It was really bad.
It was really bad. The cloning of the houses. So, like, yeah, in any given spot, you would go into a house and it's laid out very specific way. And then go into the next house, exactly the same. Next house,
like, there's
exactly
just
the
like
same.
minute details that
like, most of the time it's just people. Where they put the people. Yeah. That's it.
It was really bad. I did notice that, and it was a little disappointing because
like, your house looks really good. Like, in the game, your character's house looks so cool. Like, you go through and you're finding all these details, and it's like, oh, wow, that's really neat. And you go through, like, your, like, Hop's house, and it's like, oh, man, that's really, they have all these weird, like, little details. Like, Hop's house is also Leon's house. So you'll go into Leon's room, and he has all these, like, hats on the wall, and, it's just cool. But then you start exploring more and more, and it's like, honestly, all the houses look the same if you can even go in them.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, I think it would have been better for you to just not gone in to realize how cookie cutter it was. Yeah. It was really kind of bad.
It was bad. One of the areas that drew my attention was the way that I can't think of the name. It's the gym that has piers in it. The rock and roll Team Yell hideout, whatever you want to call it, whatever the actual name is, I don't know. Anyway, it's like just this hallway, and you can't go into any of the buildings.
That's
true.
It
looks really neat because it looks a lot like the alleyway in Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Oh,
it looks a lot like that, where there's like neon lights on the wall, and it looks really neat, but it's just like this hallway. You can't interact with any of the buildings. You can kind of like walk around some stuff in one small area, but that's it. Like, it's silly. Just have a little bit that you can walk into. I don't know.
A bit of minor details. I did not like the bike uniforms.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And they give you the option of buying or obtaining like the different gym uniforms, but you have to wear them all the time. Like, I thought maybe you would have the option to wear that uniform when you went to battle other gyms or something.
Nope.
No.
It's just if you want to wear them out of the gym.
I absolutely hated that. Yeah. And honestly, I put this in gameplay, but this might just be me being greedy. I don't know. I wish there was more clothing option and more customization to your character. And like
Have you seen my backpack?
Yeah, I know you hated the backpack.
That was like
that was your number one complaint.
That was my number one complaint, like throughout the whole game, because I had to stare at this stupid brick backpack.
I walked up to you, I'm like, so how's the game going? Great, but I hate my backpack.
Yeah, because that's all I have to look at the whole time. Like, my character is a backpack. And, like, yeah, you can kind of change the skin, but, like, not the style. They had two different styles. They had the box, or they had the, like, spherical, gym bag. And they both were huge. They both took up my character's entire backside. So any shirts that had a design on the back, and there were a few that were pretty cool, you couldn't see them because you had this huge backpack. That reminds me,
you can customize your character before you officially get you can choose a uniform number.
Yeah, that was cool.
I changed my hair to long before I had done that, so they zoom in on your back when you play.
It's just your hair.
It's just my hair. You don't get to see my number.
What number did you pick?
9.
9.
Did you 7?
No, I didn't. I did 520. It was a house number that I used to live at that house. 520.
Well, yeah, the customization of the characters, which I felt that way in the past about when they first introduced customization. Actually, I feel like this one, there was less options than in previous games.
I liked a lot of the options that I had available.
I did like them too,
but there was still a lot of limitation as far as like pants. They had like maybe 3 different style of pants. And again, maybe it's just guys. Like you kind of had the skirts too that you could use. But like I had just like 2, like I had straight pants, or I had the like weird like cut pants. And the weird cut pants just had like 6 different colors, and then the like straight pants just had like different designs on them, so I could get like stripes on the side or stripes on the front or different color variations, and that was it. Like there was nothing else for bottoms.
Yeah,
no shorts,
I was really kind of just. I had like 2 looks that I went with, and they were pretty much the same, just different. But you know, speaking of your bags, I didn't like that they didn't have the option to remove it completely. Like, there was no reason why you couldn't have.
Agreed.
If you can change it, obviously your character can look without the bag.
And there was a lot of different things that you could remove, but not the bag. It would have saved a lot of heartache for me.
And I mean, I realize it's not ideal because you don't understand how your characters walk around without stuff. But on the flip side, it's like,
who
but
cares?
It looks terrible, yeah.
Yeah,
that's for me to decide.
Or at least give me like a messenger bag or something, something else. I'll take the girls' bag. Their bags were just fine.
I didn't like bulky, mine. Yeah,
but I mean, still,
it was a little bit. I mean, it looked more like a backpack than it was your mom's old bag.
Yeah.
What was yours? Dad's old bag.
Dad's old bag. Yeah.
I did like though when you choose your hair color, it reflects how your mom's hair color looks.
When you pick it at the very beginning, yeah.
I kind of appreciated
that. That was fun.
What did you think about the Galar region Pokemon?
I actually really liked it.
I did too, and I liked it a lot more than the Alolan.
I did too. Well,
there was a few that were a little weird.
So here's my take on the Galar Pokemon. I hated the Alolan Pokemon when they first came out. I thought that concept was ridiculous.
Oh, really?
But it grew on me over time, and I kind of like, all right, well, I understand that, you know, maybe Pokemon, a Vulpix in one region would be fire type, and a Vulpix in another region might be ice type. All right, I accept that, and it grew on me. Then the Galar region came, and I'm like, well, obviously they're going to do the same thing, right? And they did, and I loved a lot of the variation. Like, Zigzagoon
I loved his. His
awesome.
Was cool.
Awesome. And, like, they even played with, like, the evolutions, too. Like, Meowth. Meowth evolves, but if you evolve an Alolan Meowth, he doesn't turn into Pershing. He turns into
I know, I hated
a different
him,
Pokemon.
I hated that Pokemon.
What was his name?
It was something weird.
Berserker. Yeah, that's what it was.
I did like the concept. I just am a little disappointed because I like Persian. Like, I was expecting a cooler looking Persian.
Still in the game, but like, yeah, I kind of wanted like an awesome, like, mean Persian.
The Alolan Persian was ridiculous.
Yeah,
he looked like he ate a bee.
I know. I thought
there needed to be a redemption there.
I thought it was silly that they even did a Meowth. Galar Meowth. Like, do we really need a Galar Meowth and an Alolan Meowth and a traditional Meowth? Like, why? Apparently we need those now.
It's funny, the Alolan game, I actually liked because your mom has a regular Meowth.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked him. He was really cute in the game. But yeah, at this point, it was just like, why did we need this again? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand the thing behind Meowth.
I really liked the Galar wheezing too.
Oh my gosh.
Pipes.
He's probably my favorite Pokemon.
He's really cool.
It's so funny.
It's so like accurate. And then he has like big mustache too. He's
the
so,
top hats. It's just so funny watching him walk around on your screen.
I know they pop up and there's like whoop, and then there's the smoke coming out. Yeah. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Oh man.
I thought that Piers looked like
I hated Piers. That it looked dumb.
I think he looked exactly like the lead singer from Mindless Self-Indulgence.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Just like him. I kept calling him Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Like every time I saw him, that's all cause like he's kind of getting old now. Sorry, Jimmy. I mean you are. And I mean, they look exactly, and this guy is like the lead singer of like a rock band too. So
that
like,
is really funny.
Beautifully, it was kind of funny. That didn't really fit into graphics, but I had to put it in somewhere, so that's where I wrote it down at.
Speaking of the gym leaders, I loved Nessa.
Oh yeah, I think everybody
whoever
does.
the snow girl was, I liked her too.
I didn't have the snow girl.
Oh, that's right, you didn't.
We'll talk about that more in gameplay, but yeah, I didn't have the snow girl.
Funny story though.
I didn't have the ghost person either, which was really cool. I had the rock guy. He's like this big like dude rock guy. And then like
very good.
I had a fighter girl and she was pretty cool.
Oh. I'll have to look him up because I don't think I've seen him.
But yeah, all the gym leaders, their designs were really neat. The grass gym leader who didn't have a nose was kind of weird.
He was kind of cute though.
I liked his bigness.
Yeah,
he wasn't like tubby big. He was just a big dude.
He looked like a huge bodybuilder Boy Scout.
Yeah, totally.
He looked like he should be selling me cookies.
He looked like
or popcorn or whatever.
He looked like he would be really nice, like a really nice guy. Like if you if you dropped your Pokeballs while you're running around, like, I'll get those for you.
Oh my gosh. That's funny that you mentioned that. I wonder how many Pokemon have gotten lost because their trainers just lost their balls. So I don't know, or I just got this Meowth on the street one day.
That's a good question. I don't know. So I didn't think that there was enough water areas.
Yeah.
It seems like most of the games have like a big like water area where you're kind of going around. You really have to travel. They didn't have a whole lot of that. Like they had a small section in like the wilds area, and then they had like a water one water route. And the water route was kind of more icy than it was watery.
I really did not like that.
And the water Pokemon, there wasn't a whole lot of them. And the way they popped up was kind of like, gave me anxiety.
Yeah, I agree. It was cool.
They were huge, but like, yeah.
Aesthetically, when you see some of them jumping, it's cool at first. But then it's like, okay, I really don't want to be an encounter right now.
You're like, oh my gosh, another one just jumped over my head. Like, oh my gosh, there's another one. Leave me alone.
I did though like the water sections and like the caves and stuff. That was pretty cool, but I don't know. Oh, by the way, the Stunkfish, is that his name?
I liked the concept of him like trapping you. That was kind of neat, but it got old really fast.
Yes, I agree.
And he was a pain.
I used to use him a lot in the past because
the original one?
Yeah. And because he wasn't electric and ground anymore, it was like, well, I don't want to use him. And he didn't look as cool as the original.
I liked his design actually. He kind of looked like a bear trap.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it didn't make sense because he's a fish.
Yeah,
he was not in water anymore.
I don't know. I didn't like how when you fight on the water, it looked weird.
Yeah.
Like, you looked like you were just standing on water. Like, in previous games, you kind of are on this, like, little island. Not that they had this much detail, but you were kind of on this, like, little island, and you were standing on the little island fighting the Pokemon who was, like, in the water or also on a little island or something. But this one is just, like, you're just straight up standing on the water, and your Pokemon is just standing on the water. And the Pokemon that you're fighting is standing on the water. Like, it's... I don't know. Not to say that they could have really done that a whole lot better. Maybe put a little bit of a ground. Maybe make it a little shallower where your character is. I don't know. It just could have been a little better.
How did you feel about the bike?
I thought the bike was fine.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you like that it could go on the water and stuff?
Yeah, it didn't bother me any.
I think
they needed a way to do that, and I think that was a good solution.
I kind of...
I miss riding on the Pokemon. I
felt like if you're gonna use your Pokemon at least once, that would have been cool. Although I loved Corviknight.
I did too, yeah.
And I loved that they used him as transportation.
I did too.
He was awesome. I loved him.
Did you actually see the taxi when you're in that big? I'm terrible with names, but the big town at the very end, the huge town.
Yeah, you could actually see them,
and they're really cool.
I know,
really cool. These big, I want to say they look like cast iron,
they look
like jail cells that you're flying around in.
I tried not to keep close mind to some of the Pokemon because I wanted to be surprised while playing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know his pre-evolution. I kind of had an idea.
I didn't either.
But yeah, I didn't until I was the first Pokemon Rookie. I think that's his name. Rookie D. I didn't realize till the second evolution. I thought I think he might evolve, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I had gotten him.
I had the same thing because I wasn't crazy about Rookie D. Mainly because his name is kind of funky, Rookie, Rook.
Rickety.
I think it's going with the Rook because the second one is Squire or something like that, and then Corviknight. So they were going with this
theme.
Theme, but I think he just looked weird. But his final evolution is Corviknight's awesome,
and I used him a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
In fact, my team was fairly well balanced. I think there was a few that was kind of. I got a Mudsdale, something like that. I used the horse Pokemon, and he was my main Pokemon.
Did you want to say anything else about graphics? Because we're dipping into gameplay a little bit.
No,
I want to move on if that's what
if
there's anything else graphic wise.
I had it at a 9. I think I'm gonna mark mine down to an 8 because I agree. There were some points you brought up that I didn't think about. I think I'm gonna knock it down to an 8. I still am really impressed with some of this stuff.
Sure, and Pokemon designs in general looked pretty good. I really liked all of the new
ones.
The new Galar Pokemon were really good. I didn't think that there was too many lazy choices as far as Pokemon design went.
Cookie cutter houses.
Yeah. What was your favorite new gen Pokemon?
It's hard to say because I don't know exactly which ones are new because I really didn't finish the one before this. Yeah. I really liked the Moth. The
Snom's evolution?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been calling him...
I really like Snom.
I do too. I think
everybody does.
I've been calling him Snom Nom Nom.
Snom Nom Nom, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got a shiny, didn't you?
I did.
I really want one.
He looks like he's gonna throw up, but it's okay.
To me, when you look at Snom, it looks like something stuck. So his mouth looks like little legs dangling out.
Really?
Yeah, to me I'll have to draw it up for you.
When I see him, all I see is those big, he has two kind of pincers.
That's what I think look like the legs.
Yeah. But when he comes out, he growl, they open up really wide and he makes his little yeah, and he looks like he's really struggling to get that sound out, and it's so adorable.
There are these worms. I think they're worms. Anyway, they're called glass worms or something. They look like gummy worms. They're not gummy worms. They're like caterpillars.
Real life worms?
Yes, in real life. Then I'm sure that's probably what they're based off of, but they look very similar to that, and they look so cute in real life. So these Pokemon, I loved this. I love the Pokemon. I
liked them too. I thought they were adorable.
The Moth looked really cool.
Really pretty. Yeah.
I still really think Corviknight is my favorite, probably. Yeah.
I don't know. I still say I really like Snom from the beginning. I didn't use him in my team. Because by the time I actually got a Snom, I already had a decent team. I think,
well, I needed a Pokemon that was ice really bad, so he ended up being part of my team.
I think my biggest one was Corviknight or, Sizzlepede and Centiskorch.
He was pretty cool, I will say that.
He was really cool. His Gigamax form looks just like Aku from Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
I actually named him Aku just because of that.
That's cute. Gameplay.
I think we're ready to move on to gameplay.
There's a lot to say. there's a lot of. I really don't have much bad. I know you do, which is fine.
I do, yeah.
Little things. I liked the cool twirl pose. You could rotate. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you actually do that to evolve a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I did know about that. I haven't done it yet, but like I had said earlier, I like that you can Dynamax only in gyms and like the certain spots. I think that's
cool.
a good. I liked the gym challenges.
Yes.
Like the different puzzles that you had to do, they were a little kind of too easy.
They were way too easy, but they were fun. I think that they could have maybe like playing it a second time, like because you can go into do the gym battle anytime, but I think maybe a second time through the gym, maybe make it a little harder, change it up, make it a little different. Like they could have done something there.
The job system for Pokemon.
I didn't do that at all. I like the concept.
I liked it at first, but then it became a chore.
Yeah, sure.
And I know you guys were catching all the Pokemon to fill your decks, and at one point I would like to do that, but I didn't have time, which meant that I wasn't catching all of the Pokemon. And I tried it first for a while, but then I was running out of Pokemon to send, and it was becoming a chore, and I stopped. But what did you think about the curry and playing with your Pokemon at the campsites?
At first I thought it was just a silly gimmick that they had to put in because some Pokemon evolved with friendship. But the more I played it, the more it kind of grew on me, mainly because of Snom. So
he was so slow.
He's so slow, and he's so cute trying to get that little ball. And half the time, the other Pokemon steal it before he can get there, and I feel bad for him, so I have to steal it back and give it back to him. Just, like, that aspect of being able to actually interact with the Pokemon was fun and cute, and, you know, you got to see most of your Pokemon were out and about and playing around, and if you joined in with another person who was also... you know, at a campsite, you could see their Pokemon rolling around, and like that was cute. That was a cool idea. The curry thing specifically, it's kind of just an extra like thing that you can do, but it didn't really bother me any. It was kind of nice that you could use it to heal your Pokemon, not that you needed it.
I did a few times. Did you? I forgot, by the way, one of my favorite Pokemon was the My Little Ponytas.
Oh,
I loved the My Little Ponytas.
The new Ponytas.
I loved them.
Yes.
So much. My heart was so happy. I can't believe I forgot, because that was like my... Yeah. I did see that one before the game came out, and I was like, oh!
My Little Ponytas?
And I did have one in my party. I did not use it much. And I did not like the Rapidash as much as the Ponyta.
Yeah, I didn't either. In fact, Lori got a shiny Ponyta.
I know, you guys worked hard for those.
She egg hunted for it. How many did you end up doing, Lori? Do you remember? 600 eggs, which is a lot better than my Snom. About 2,000 Snom before I got my shiny.
Do you remember your team?
If I think about it long enough, I will. Let's see. I had my starter, which was Sobble. I named him Salt, so I don't actually know what his evolution names are. But I had him in my party, and then I used Centiskorch and Corviknight and the T...
Oh, like Poltegeist.
Poltegeist. Man... those were my main ones. I kind of rotated the last few a little bit. Oh, I had Toxtricity or something like that.
Toxtricity, yes.
He was pretty cool. Although when he evolved and he did the guitar strums on his chest hairs, I thought it was really odd.
They're like removed from party.
He like evolved and he was like blong on his chest hair, and I'm like, whoa! Like I don't know if I like that.
Things got electrifying.
He was a pretty cool, he was a pretty good fighter though, so it didn't bother me any. Yeah, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember the other what, like 2 or something like that.
I finished my game with Cinderace, which was my starter, Corviknight, Thievul, which his pre-evolution was adorable. The fox.
Oh,
with, like, the vacuum cleaner tail.
The vacuum cleaner tail.
I didn't like his. If they had taken his face from his pre-evolution and stuck it on his final evolution, I would have loved him a lot more.
Yeah.
But I used Thievul, Rapidash, and
Stop. Sorry.
Thievul, my Rapidash, my Frosmoth, which was your your little guys.
Snobble.
And then I used Mudsdale, and he was like my main Pokemon. I used him for everything. And I don't even know why.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you like horses. I don't really even like horses a whole lot, but I used him for a lot of stuff.
Huh.
But yeah, he was my main squeeze.
Yeah, mine was definitely my
Salt.
He had that like sniper shot.
Yeah.
And literally it took down everything. Like most of the time the gym fights, I brought him out and one hit KO for every.
Yeah,
he was just
I had a few of those.
Just like a gun shooting down everything.
Did you have any problems with battle-wise, like any gyms or
no?
How was your fight against Leon?
Leon was probably the biggest struggle.
My biggest struggle,
the biggest struggle aside from Hop's final. Right. Leon, I scraped by like the skin of my teeth, but not one of them did I die. I
died once in like a random like battle, but I hadn't healed my Pokemon.
Like
I was
you weren't paying attention.
Yeah. My hardest one was Nessa at the end.
Oh, really?
I don't know why.
The second time you fought her?
Yes, she was the hardest. Leon honestly was the easiest.
Really?
Isn't that funny how your team has to be just rightly balanced? In fact, you had told me you had problems, so I'm like, okay, I've got to make sure my characters are beefy.
The trick was like Leon, his Pokemon had like balanced moves. So like specifically the one that comes to my mind is his Charizard has a has a leaf move. So like I brought out my water Pokemon to fight his Charizard and he used his leaf move on me and I'm like, what the heck is this crap? He's taking down my like main Pokemon with a move from his Charizard that I should have one hit KO'd. So yeah, that was probably the only catch to it. So then after my Salt died, then I had to like reroute like everything, and then I had to like revive some Pokemon to get through the fight. But I mean, I scraped by, but that was probably the hardest.
I think his Charizard was the hardest for me because I had no like electric attacks. I think that was the only thing, because otherwise it would have been which really, again, he wasn't that hard. It took like a while to beat him.
Sure.
Like longer than one hit KO.
Yeah.
But no, he was probably my easiest battle.
What did you think of the raid system? The like Dynamax Den thing. Did you do very many of them?
I didn't. I did with a couple with you guys. It's not that I didn't like them, it's just I didn't care.
Yeah.
it was a cool thing that you didn't have to do. It was like, like it didn't pull from the game, it didn't really add to the game. I mean, I guess it kind of did, but
I guess I went into it not liking the concept because it was so much like Pokemon Go. And I'm like, this is dumb that I'm going to have to find friends to actually play with or play with random people online to even get any of these Pokemon. But then I got the game and I'm like, well, they're just throwing, if I want to do a raid by myself, I could, even though the NPCs that they give you are terrible. But like it could be done. So, it didn't detract from the game any. It just, I don't know. It was kind of a silly gimmick that they threw in there again with the like Dynamax gimmick that they added in. Just kind of a silly thing.
I think this is something that we should definitely talk about on Zap Chats, but like Pokemon has always kind of had these like little side things that you could always do, which I just kind of appreciate. Like maybe the Dynamax is kind of a poor example, but like the curry and the tent thing, or Pokemon Diamond comes to mind, where you can like dig for artifacts and stuff, which was really fun. I know you didn't really play those games, but you could you could like excavate stuff and find fossils and all that.
Well, I mean, this game kind of had an element of that with like one guy who a black screen popped up and he dug. You didn't see anything, he just did it. But yeah, I kind of wish that they would have incorporated some
more
of those like,
interactive
mini game type things.
You remember in Gold and Silver where you could do the like puzzles? Those were kind of cool.
Yeah, and a lot of those older Pokemon games, they had like these optional like dungeons and stuff that you could do and get, you could find that like weird legendary Pokemon for no reason. Like I wish that there was more optional stuff. I wish that there was more like there was more post-game
some of that optional stuff, especially for this game, would have made more sense.
Yes.
In this specific game.
Yeah.
And honestly, they had a lot of opportunity to be more folksy and more like mythical, like these different legends and stuff with this type of game, with the setting and everything.
There's so much mythology in like UK lore that they could have played upon, and they didn't. And it's silly. I don't know.
I gave gameplay an 8 out of 10.
I did too.
I wanted to give it a 9, and I crossed it out after I wrote some stuff down. I'm like, I don't think it deserved the 9, but it was I don't know if I'm extremely biased because I loved this game. I know a lot of people didn't, but I loved this game.
Okay, let me talk about some of the stuff that I didn't like. Specifically, we're going to talk about multiplayer again. Because I'm still upset about the way that they have their multiplayer set up. Their online functionality is just atrocious. It's just straight up horrible. So the way it's set up now is if you want to play online, say you want to play with me, and I give you my friend code, and we, link up on Pokemon, and we want to play together. We want to walk around and we want to do raids. So I turn on my online, you turn on your online, and you're nowhere to be found because it's flooded with
everyone
else. And it's not just like, it's not like literally everyone. It's just like a small set of like maybe 50 people that they allow to show up. And it's only in the wilds. Only in the wilds. What they should have done is they should have enabled a friend code system like they have in the past. Or at least used your friend list on your Switch to say these people take priority. Or you can choose to only see those people in the wilds. So, like, if I'm playing online and you're online at the same time, we're both friends on our Switches, you show up. No one else. I want to have an option where no one else shows up, just my friends who are online. That way I can interact with them or see what they're doing or see what they're fighting or, just to hang out kinda more or less with them. There's nothing like that.
I know. This is the thing that you've been wanting for a long time.
It would not have been that hard. Now you can do that locally. Like, if you have your local, like, multiplayer thing on, if we're all in the same room, we can all see each other in the wilds together.
It's not anyone else.
Just us and no one else. I want that, but I want that with the online mode. And it shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but that's how they did it the stupid way. Now, the other thing that I wish they would have done is incorporated that outside of the wilds.
They focused a lot on the wilds.
I want to be able to play my game with my friends and see them on the journey with me. It would not be that difficult. It's the same concept as the wilds. I just want to be able to see them, where they're at, and maybe have an idea of what they're fighting. Like, oh my gosh, hey, look, Kaylee is over here in this patch of grass fighting a
Snom.
a Snom. Oh, let me go to that patch of grass and see if I can catch a Snom too. It would not have been that difficult, but yet they refuse. They refuse. So yeah, I'm bitter about it. It's really annoying. The functionality that they did add was good. It's a step in the right direction of what I'm ultimately aiming for, but it's still not there yet.
Yeah.
And in fact, it just infuriated me when they did that online thing and you enter the online mode and you get like 50 random people and they're all just like hanging out by the eggs.
Yeah.
And like that's it. Like,
just standing there.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid. The game is way too easy. Like from the beginning. It's like holding your hand throughout every step of the way.
It really does hold your hand. I agree. On the flip side, I don't know. I appreciated it because I had to play this game in a certain time, It made it an easier option for me to just play the game because I like Pokemon, which is great. However, if one day I want to be like, well, I really want to go hardcore mode on this, they don't have an option to help up the difficulty or extra stuff, or, you know, like you said, there's not much side stuff after this.
There is no getting lost in this game, which is fine.
I kind of thought...
But there is no challenge to it. Like, you know exactly where you're going. You know, there's, like, every route is a one-way haul. Like, I miss the days where, like, you go into a cave completely pitch black, and, like, it's a maze. Just go and figure it out. You know, I want that. Like, I don't want to just have these hallways like that. Nobody wants that. I
thought that your rival choosing the weaker option was too much holding your hand.
Exactly.
And I thought maybe it was because they were trying to explain his character development, like he's not very good at what he wants to be.
He's an idiot because he chose this Pokemon.
On the flip side, it is kind of like it made fighting him too easy. It made a lot of... Yeah. And, like... Let's be honest, knowing what gym types there are, you already know going in that you're going to obliterate it because you know you have the type advantage. You know what type advantage.
You're
there were a few, though.
Prepping your team for that type.
They did kind of surprise me, though, with a few gyms where they did have, like, advantage moves over you, having an idea what you would probably choose. But still...
But, I mean, it's like, what? Oh, well, you killed my one Pokemon. I have 6 more.
Yeah.
Or I have 5 more, you know? Overall, as an overall picture of this game, it's too easy. But
again, if you are looking for an easy, nice, pleasant game to play,
if you're coming from previous Pokemon games, you're gonna look at this and be like, "Why are they holding my hand? Like, there's no need for this." They may be trying to aim at a younger audience, very possible, but. Does Pokemon have no concept of who plays their games? I mean, they have to know by now that the people playing the games, the people paying the money, are the people who've been playing this from the beginning. People our age. People who are watching this. Like, we as a group have brought this game, you know, we've been playing these Pokemon games from the beginning and seeing the progression, and this seems like a step backwards as far as, like, difficulty goes.
I have vivid memories of me being a kid and needing help getting through Pokemon games. And that's on me, I guess, but, like, my parents were buying those games for me. They didn't play Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I have nephews who are playing Pokemon who would not know, they would need their handheld.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would like to target their audience to younger generations because they're the ones watching the TV shows and the merchandising, and unless you're you.
Those are the people who need to play Let's Go Pikachu.
Fair enough.
Not a mainstream title for people who want to play a mainstream game.
I mean, on the other hand, I feel like they're going to make more sales, unfortunately, if they're at least making it easy enough for the kids to play. And then
you're starting the downward spiral of, is Pokemon in it just for the sales? It's just for the sale numbers. Well, it's an easier game, so we're going to target it towards the kids so that we're guaranteed sales for the next 20 years. I suppose that's like what I was saying. If they had more endgame stuff that was optional to make it more of a challenge, or had a difficulty level. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Battle Tower is difficult to some degree. I mean, but that's like it. You know, once you're done with the main story, you're done. Like, there's nothing else. You can complete your Pokedex, which is the same sort of difficulty as it always has been, aside from the National Dex, which we haven't talked about yet. But, like, you know, that's it. Once you're done with the main storyline, you're pretty much done with the game. Yeah, you can kind of challenge your friends or join in, like, the league, like, actual, like, Pokemon tournaments, but...
I guess really what I'm trying to say is just, for this specific game, it was fine. I think that in future games, if it is this easy, it would be disappointing. Yeah, but I think for this game, what I wanted was a nice, peaceful game, and that's what I got.
I think... if all they did was make Hop not as common, it would have been better.
Hop.
Not
as common?
Not as... if he didn't show his face every 5 seconds.
Oh.
I think it would be a little bit better. Mainly because every time you encountered Hop, he healed your Pokemon.
That is true.
You had to fight him. It was an easy fight.
Well, you could camp anywhere.
Also, he was constantly showing you where to go. So, like, you may as well have just been walking you through, like, where are you going?
There was a lot of that.
This way. So, it's just silly. If they'd just cut back on where Hop was and not had him hold your hand throughout the whole game, I think it would have been a little bit better. It would have felt a little less handholdy, even though it still was, because the whole game is like a big hallway.
Yeah, I know.
But, again, it is what it is. It's not terrible. I still gave it an 8 for gameplay, sure. But that kind of bugged me. I think it bugged a lot of Pokemon fans, but it did bug me.
I think I can respect why that bothers you.
Sure.
It worked to my advantage this time because I needed it to, but I'm okay with it, at least with this game. In future games, I can see where it would be a problem.
I think that was it for my bad stuff.
Your Dex?
Yeah, I did complete the Pokedex. Actually, I have a living Pokedex. It's like 95% complete. There are 2 Pokemon that there's only one of in each game, or not at all. Like, I need the Shield Pokemon, the Shield Legendary, and I need what is his name? Type Null, yeah. Because he evolves, so I have the evolution of Type Null, but you can't breed him. So I need another Type Null to fill that spot. But otherwise, I have a living Pokedex. And I did it in relatively short amount of time. What? Oh yeah, because of the wilds. And so the wilds are neat and unique in this game because every day it's a little bit different. Like, the weather changes in all the areas. It kind of rotates around and it's different every single day. And the Pokemon that spawn, depending on the weather and in that area, different Pokemon will spawn. So, like, for example, there's a Pokemon that only spawns in this location, but it also has to be foggy in this location. So it's like, it'll only spawn in that spot if it meets all those requirements. So, like, if you want that Pokemon, you have to sit and wait in that spot day after day after day looking for it. But it also makes it unique. So when you're walking through there, just casually playing, you're always catching something new. And I liked that, but it did make getting the Pokedex super easy. Obviously trading Pokemon makes the Dex really easy, but I mean, that's the nature of the game. Like, I want Mimikyu, but like, I don't want to sit and try and find a Mimikyu, so I'm going to find someone who can get it for me,
I got a Mew.
Oh, right. Yes, you did.
So, I bought Let's Play Pikachu a while ago. I played this game probably like 3 hours. And put it down. I've been busy the last couple years. Yes. Yeah. But I bought the Pokeball that plays with that game, but also works for Pokemon Go.
Like Pokeball controller, the Pokeball Plus specifically is what it's called.
But what you can do is you could put your Pokemon buddies in there and carry them around with you.
Right, and when you buy the Pokeball Plus, it comes with a Mew built into it. And the original idea was that was the only way to get Mew into your Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee game. However,
I never deposited my Mew.
Yeah.
Ever. In fact, we were out talking. We just started playing Pokemon Shield and Sword. And you go, one of you guys had asked, did you put a buddy in your Pokeball yet? And I said, oh no, I haven't ever done that. So I went home that day and deposited my Mew. And I thought, wait a minute. I didn't know he was in this game. And I thought about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a Mew in this game. I don't know if that's possible. It didn't corrupt the game or anything, but it still was like, it's kind of...
I think if that was going to be a problem, I think they would have stopped it from happening. But yeah.
like a month later, like an article came out explaining how you could get Mew, but it's only if you had never deposited your Mew into your game ever.
That's so funny.
So I had done that without even realizing it was a thing, and it didn't even occur to me. And I'd been using it for Pokemon Go only, so it was like...
Funny.
I just thought that was kind of cool that had happened.
That is cool. I don't have a Mew in my game.
My game's special. I'm selling it online for like $1,000. So
fancy.
I thought it would be kind of cute to I will not do this, but to like special trade to make someone's day.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
You imagine just special trading and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, is that a Mew? They'll accuse me of hacking my game.
Yeah, probably. Somebody's always out there accusing someone of that.
Did you want to talk about the national?
Sure. I know that it's a big problem with the Pokemon community right now. Sword and Shield doesn't have a national dex. No one's surprised at this point because it's been announced over and over again. Everyone's talking about it. My personal take on it is I do not care. It doesn't hurt my feelings whatsoever. Every single Pokemon game has a regional dex. And that regional dex has Pokemon exclusive to the region. Every game has been like this since the beginning. The difference is that the older games included a national dex that you could get post-game to allow you to transfer your Pokemon from older generations into the new generation. This game, however, has ended that process. A lot of people are upset about it because they want to play with every single Pokemon. Makes sense. I have done a lot of work in Pokemon X and Y and a lot of work in Pokemon Sun and Moon to get the national dex. I still don't have it. I think I'm like 200 short. But you know, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to have the national Pokedex, especially a living one like what I've been trying to do. And I think that it doesn't detract from the game any. It doesn't. Like, the game, it is what it is, and the Pokemon that are in it, I like. They fit with the game. Yeah, I am a little disappointed that I can't have my Rattata that I've had from,
Joey's
Rattata specifically from the very beginning. But, it's fine. Like, it doesn't detract from the game, really. The only possible thing that I could see that being an issue is for people, one, who have had Pokemon since the beginning, and I have a few, or two, they want to play this game competitively, and not having every Pokemon option is kind of annoying. Or they've had Pokemon that they have specially trained in, Sun and Moon that they can't transfer up. And it is sad. That does suck. But it, as a standalone game on its own, it doesn't change anything. Like, literally, if you played Sun and Moon as a standalone game on its own, the national dex makes no difference. So, it's not that big of a deal to me. I personally think they will include a national dex at some point. Even though they say they're not going to, I think it would be way too easy for Game Freak to just add a patch and say, surprise, all the Pokemon are now available. But they're not going to do that until they have like a new Pokemon Home app that they're working on. And when that gets released, then I think they'll do the national dex. But as of right now, I don't think it's necessary. I don't really care. It didn't detract from the game any. Maybe it would just add more time to the post game as far as trying to get the national dex done. But it didn't hurt anything. What do you think about the national dex? I talked your ear off on this one.
No, I honestly, I have not messed with it a whole lot. So
I consider myself a Pokemon collector. And, like, from that point of view, yeah, the national dex is kind of a big deal because I've been working on it for so long. But, again, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
I can see, I see what you're saying, and I can see how it would be unfortunate for other players. For me, it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
So.
And it didn't affect me either. It could, and if that is a game-breaking... if that's the reason why you didn't buy this game was the national dex, that would be a salty reason why. There's a couple different reasons why I would understand you wouldn't want to play this game. That should not be one of them. If that is your main reason to not buy the game, is the national dex, then that means you're not a real Pokemon fan. I mean, to be honest. Because really, from my point of view, being a Pokemon fan is exploring a new world, is exploring the region, and catching and experiencing everything that region has to offer. And the National Dex isn't part of the region. It's not. Otherwise, it'd be in the Regional Dex. And it's been like that from the beginning. So stop complaining about it. It's not that big of a deal. Now, again, competitively speaking, it might be a problem.
It shouldn't be the only reason why you would not play this game.
The reason people like playing these Pokemon games is they like the experience of meeting new Pokemon and exploring the world, and you're still getting that. You're still going to be able to catch your Pikachu. The main core is still there. It is kind of sad that they don't have a Squirtle though.
But they had a Charizard though.
Yeah, they did. Yep. But I mean, still, it's not game breaking. So that's what I have to say about the National Dex.
Anything else for gameplay? We're on there for a while.
I don't think so.
Music? Can I say?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Wow.
I have no notes for it.
I gave it a 9. Not because there was anything wrong with it, because I honestly can't think of anything.
But that's the problem. You can't really think of anything.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest problem, is that I didn't want to give it a 10 because I couldn't specifically remember anything.
I partially think the reason why I made it 10 is because I'm a little bit biased, because right now I'm going through this, I've been watching a TV show that's been, about the Scottish, area anyway, and I've been digging the bagpipey sounds and
there's
the
a lot
music.
Of that.
It's very calming to me. Mm-hmm. I really liked the battle music, and even though I can't remember it off the top of my head, first of all, I played through this game relatively quickly, so I think if I had a second time through, maybe it would stick better. But I got into when I was battling, I just kind of sitting there, I got into it. I really liked it. I thought there was a lot of cool sounds. I liked this music. I really did enjoy it. It was calming when it was calming. It was uppity when it needed to be. The battles were cool. I had no complaints with the music.
It kept its traditional Pokemon sound. I appreciated that. There was some areas that was not very Pokemon sound, some of the music specifically that was very techno-y, electronic, not it's kind of straying from the traditional Pokemon bubbly sound that you're used to. The gym battles were really cool. There was a lot of gym battle sound effects that were really neat, when I kind of talked about it already, but the crowd in the background,
I love the
really
chanting.
Cool. That was really fun.
And then they would cheer when your Pokemon would be defeated in its Dynamax Sport, but I kind of understand they're just die.
No, it's more of they're cheering for the gym leader,
right?
And that's cool. I liked that they kept all the traditional Pokemon menu sounds, the scrolling through items and all that same traditional Pokemon sound. I really like Team Yell's theme. And what's her name?
Marnie?
Marnie's theme song, battle music song. I like her aesthetic. Everything about her was awesome.
Oh, really? I
really liked her. She was cool. She was a cool chick.
We didn't talk about this in graphics. I forgot to, but dude, they reused the Team Yell people. They're same two. I think there was one extra person or something like that.
I mean, it kind of goes back to cloning the house schemes. But all of the NPCs, all of the trainer battles that the random or not random, the
trainer encounters.
Yeah, the normal overworld trainer fights.
The one that
there was a male and female of every type, and that's it. And Team Yell was no exception. But I feel now in the Switch era, we're talking new generation. We're talking, video games with the equivalent power of having every NPC being different. I don't see why that shouldn't have been that. There's no reason to have any cloning of any kind, period. But especially with the
I can understand if they had to reuse them a couple times, but like more variety than just two.
Team Yell, you're fighting two males who are doing the exact same move. Thing. And they're doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, and they look the exact same because they're just clones. It's just silly. It's so silly.
That was disappointing.
So yeah, that we can file that under negative gameplay or negative graphics. But yeah, music 9 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Cool.
Overall,
I gave the game a 9 out of 10.
Me too.
You know, there was a lot of negativity in here, and I think a lot of that comes from many, many years playing Pokemon series. This is not the first Pokemon main series game that we've covered on Zap Night. It is the newest, obviously, because it is brand new. But it's like, I think we played Pokemon Red and Blue, and then like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which is still just Red and Blue, and then these. So like, you know, we don't have a whole lot in between as far as reviews go, and we haven't played a ton of Pokemon as within the past like 3 years that we've been doing the podcast. But I have so much love for this series, and nitpicking at some of these things seems petty, but in the overall scheme, I do feel like the game was lazy.
Yeah.
I truly do. But it still is a fun Pokemon game. So like, yeah, there's lazy aspects of it, and it's disappointing from a fan, from somebody who looks at these games critically, but at the end of the day, 9 out of 10, you know, I had a good time playing this game.
I loved this game.
It was fun meeting all the new Pokemon. It was really fun to, you know, learn all the new evolution, like, tricks. And, you know, there's a Pokemon that you need to be in a very specific spot with a very specific Pokemon with a very specific amount of health to evolve that Pokemon. Like, how are you supposed to figure that out on your own? I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I had a great time playing this game. I completed the Pokedex. I caught myself a shiny. I got the shiny charm. I fought a handful of people in the Game Freak, like, the Game Freak developer staff. Yeah. I mean, it still is a traditional Pokemon game. It's just they were a little lazy in some aspects, which a lot of people find unforgivable.
I think when you gloss over some of these minor details, for me, aesthetically speaking, was awesome. Yeah, I loved it. It was very relaxing. It was gorgeous. At least when you first open the game, when you first play the game, right there in your hometown, it's amazing. Yeah. It's just aesthetically pleasing. I loved the Wooloos.
Yeah, everybody did.
I liked it. It was very homey. That house, I wanted that house.
I did too.
I was ready to sell my own house.
Yeah. There was a lot of little disappointing things. And again, if they're looking back at my notes, the camera rotation in it outside of the wilds, it can be glazed over. Not a big deal. You know, I mean, Gigamax Pokemon that are pixelated, whatever. You know, glaze over it. The multiplayer functionality, that one's kind of big. that one still hits kind of hard. There's my 9 out of 10. Like, if multiplayer was better, this would be a 10 out of 10 for me. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are like, it's kind of nitpicky, but when you look at the overall thing, it kind of hits hard. But at the end of the day, we still had fun.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what it is to be a Pokemon fan. When you play a Pokemon game and it still is fun, that's what counts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that puts my score at a 43 out of 50.
Yep, and mine is a 39 out of 50.
Which makes it an 82.
82 out of 100. That is a B.
Minus.
B minus? Wow. It's fine.
I think a B is good.
Yeah, a B is good. A B is good.
I think it earned its B. I would have been sad if it had a C.
Yeah,
and I don't think it earned an A because of the few things I had problems with. I think B is
a B is a good spot. Yeah,
solid.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that could have been better. Again, I'm just repeating myself at this point.
No, I I get it. Yeah. It's good.
I would like to see more. I would like to see better from Game Freak.
Left a lot to be desired.
I have a strong feeling that they are working on Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
Maybe second.
I would enjoy that. I enjoy Diamond and Pearl.
Like a remake of Diamond and Pearl. I mean, it only makes sense. Like, if you look at the timeline, you had, by the time Leaf Green and Fire Red came out, that was like the start of the remakes, and they've been like keeping that progression. Like they had the
Diamond and Pearl's time,
the Soul Silver and Heart Gold, and they had the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So now we're looking at the Diamond and Pearl era,
ultra shiny diamond and ultra shiny pearl,
like buffed. Yeah, I don't know.
Lustering diamonds and shiny pearls.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I really feel like that's on the horizon. Nobody's made it official. Nobody's confirmed it. I think that there's been some like data miners or something that have found, bits and pieces of possibilities. But
I would be interested.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would like to say I was not excited for Pokemon Sun.
I wasn't either.
And
I played that game all the way through, and I didn't really like it.
For some reason,
was different.
I was even excited for this. I didn't even really read into the details, but for some reason, I was really excited for this.
Yeah.
I don't know why, and I'm glad because I enjoyed it, and it wasn't. Yeah, for some reason, I couldn't get into Sun and Moon or their Ultra.
Yeah, I didn't even try the Ultras.
So I mean,
yep, good games. I started playing it a second time on Shield.
Yeah. To get your other Pokemon?
Huh?
To get
my secondary Pokemon that I'm missing from my live Pokedex. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I hope you guys enjoyed a little ranting about it. Our next podcast episode, first off, happy 2020.
Yay!
This is January 1st episode.
But you didn't see that coming.
Well, I should have
2020
said that.
vision.
You are funny. I should have said that at the beginning of the podcast episode, but I didn't. Anyway, so next episode, going back again, we are officially starting Final Fantasy VII.
Yay!
I wanted to announce it today. Officially starting Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to stream it at least for a little while. So if that sounds like fun, please come and join me in the stream. Even if you just say, hi, I saw your podcast episode. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'm officially starting it. I am going to be streaming it for a little while until I get bored of streaming it, and then I'm just going to play it on my own. It just depends on the interaction. If I'm bored playing it while streaming, everyone else watching is going to be bored watching me stream it. So
they're going to watch
it's a lose-lose.
Like 30 minutes of materia swapping.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, I mean, if you guys want to see me being entertaining, interact with me. That's the best way to do it. In the meantime, so this game is probably going to take us 2 months. Hopefully not longer. Hopefully. I feel like we're starting this one on a good, we know this game pretty well. I know this game very well.
We should hopefully be able to pace ourselves properly.
Yeah, that's the goal. So we're hoping that Final Fantasy VII will be done for a March 1st review. And
you know what that means.
Oh yeah. Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out in March, so the hope is that we're going to play Final Fantasy VII all the way through, then the remake will come out, and we will play the remake. That's the plan right now. In the meantime, though, February's podcast episode is going to be another Resident Evil game. Bam! Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. So I'm going to be playing that. Again, I'm going to be streaming that.
Are you looking forward to that?
I don't know, but this was a request. So,
what the people want, the people get.
Well, Jinx was specific. A friend of mine, Jinx, specifically wanted to play this game with me. She wanted to review it with me, so I am obliging, and we are playing the game. I needed a space to fill for February anyway, so it worked out. So yeah, that podcast episode is scheduled to be for February 1st. So if that sounds like fun, make sure you follow us on all of our social media, and our website is zapnight.com. Twitch. I'm going to be on Twitch practically for the next 2 months straight, and unless I stop playing Final Fantasy VII on Twitch, which who knows. But in any case, Resident Evil 4 for sure will be streamed all the way through. So if that sounds like fun, make sure you join us over there. Yeah, I think that's all my announcements.
Yay!
So yeah, thanks again for listening and watching this episode of Zap Night. I have nothing else for you. You?
Nope.
All right. Have yourself a wonderful 2020, or at least New Year time. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.